And we're on. Welcome back to another podcast from Nobody Cares About Dad. Fresh from his travels this week.
Hola.
AD, how are you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. You?
Yeah, mate, anyone that listens to this podcast regularly will think you're living some fantasy playboy life in the
Oi.
Middle East.
Have you heard of 009? You haven't, have you?
How you
Mate.
doing, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Back today.
Good. You've
First
literally just come
break.
back today from your holiday, haven't you? How was it?
It was good, mate. It was good. It was me and little man. It was look. Let's not be
That's probably a podcast all on its own. Traveling alone with a kid, right?
That will be a podcast and an emotional one at that. It was good, mate. It was good. It was good to get away with him.
Yeah,
he's had the best time. Like it's just been non-stop. So, but I had to fly back to do this. So.
Well, we can't fault your commitment, mate.
It's what we do, mate. It's what we do.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you as ever. Well, look, today we're talking about relationship breakups.
So now we've just gone.
Yeah. Cue the sad music. Let's play some music. I don't even know what it sounds like, but
no, you don't want that.
No.
No.
I'll hear that on the playback.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No? Okay. I don't know what it does. I'm just pressing buttons here at this point. Well, look, let's introduce today's guest. So becoming a regular, Mr. Ferris. How are you doing,
boys? Yeah, not bad. Thank you. How's you?
Good. Good, mate. Good. Pleased to have you back on. Hopefully one day we'll get a nice shirt behind you in the background instead of that full.
No chance.
I reckon we can get into his house and change that shirt.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Change it for another red one. Let's put an Arsenal one up there. Just see if he notices.
Or just put a Posh shirt up there. It's
Posh.
Fine.
How did he get on against Posh the other day?
Oh yeah, great win. Deserved it.
Deserved it.
Absolute. Mitrovic again, hero.
Mitrovic.
Right. Well, look. Also with us this week is 26 stone of prime British beef. Yeah, we have had to put on the widescreen tonight just to get him in. Special lens, but yeah, coming all the way from his his apartment, Martin.
It's all right. I've moved it out. I've shrunk everything, so you're all right.
Yeah, you're actually like a mile away from the camera.
Yeah.
And it adds £10.
Fuck. 36 stone of prime British beef. How you doing, Martin?
All good.
Yeah.
Just being
life until we came on here.
Yeah. I felt so slim. I felt like I lost a few pounds this week.
Yeah, well, it's always good when your friends remind you of how much you weigh.
Yeah, always the best way.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm not going to talk about what we spoke about before, but that I saw you do a post on the 26 stone. Was that what that was in relation to?
Yes.
Right. Actually, I didn't quite understand what it was.
Well, no. If you're not on the in, you won't understand the joke. But
no. Well,
basically, he's not 26. For anyone's listening, he's not 26 stone. He's 28. Let's just clear that up.
And I look really good for it.
He's hoping to get to 26 stone by the end of the month.
He reached his goal.
2022. By the end of 2022.
Stone in a day.
I'm unhappy because I eat, and I eat because I'm unhappy. That's a really, really bad attempt at a Scottish accent as well, probably.
Well, I'm sure if anyone is listening. Oh, well, let's point out, if you are listening, you are new to the podcast, you are watching on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. AD, where is it?
It's normally up there.
I think it's down there, to be honest. Yeah.
No, it's
Might
not.
have it right.
Put it up
Somewhere.
there. Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
I unfortunately I don't control the YouTube layout, so I can't put it where I want.
We'll get our assistant to do it later. It's fine.
Sure. But look, boys, hot on the heels of our singles podcast today, we are talking about breakups. It's a breakup podcast, so I hope you've got your Kleenex at the ready.
No, Martin.
Yeah, it's not that kind of podcast, Martin. No, it's not that kind of podcast. But yeah, no, so we're going to talk about breakups. So breakups from a lad's perspective, and I said this before, but let's try and be as honest as we can throughout the podcast. Yeah.
On breakups. Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Cool. Cool.
So look, so the science of men's behaviour after breakups. I've been exploring this, and in heterosexual relationships, the foremost study into the differences in how each gender deals with heartbreak comes from the researchers of Binghamton University, who pried open the personal lives of 6,000 participants across 96 countries by asking them to vote the emotional pain of their last breakup on a scale of 0 to 10. On average, women ranked emotional pain at 6.84 out of 10, while men reported slightly lower, I think they're lying, on average at 6.58%. Now, the twist comes, however, when looking at the breakups over a longer time scale. While women are hit initially, the study also found that they recover more fully, rising from the ashes of their old relationships like a phoenix, albeit with fresh hairdos and an updated profile picture and a new subscription to yoga classes. Conversely, when it comes to men deal with breakups. The study found that guys never truly experience this type of recovery. Instead, they carry on living their lives as normal. Now, guys, I'll just interject here. Does that sound about right from your perspective at this point?
The last part, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there are several reasons why women tend to sail into the sunset post-breakup while men wallow in their underwear for months on end. Several studies into men's behaviour after a breakup have found that a married man is encouraged by his wife to partake in healthier behaviours such as quitting smoking, reducing the amount of alcohol he consumes. Post-relationship, a man is likely to slide back into those old habits, partly in an effort to rediscover his old single life, and in part falls back into the negative feelings that naturally arise in the wake of a split. Beyond giving his liver a good kicking, a newly single man, I've nearly finished, will also suffer from the loss of his spiritual home, his partner, whereas women tend to have larger, complex support networks within which they can share their grief. Men's friendship networks, on average, are much smaller. Again, lads, is that something that you can relate to?
Definitely.
Defo.
Okay. So look, diving, I suppose, straight into it, one of my first questions, I was just curious can you think of the reasons your previous relationship ended?
Yeah, lack of
Right.
trust.
Lack of trust.
Lack of trust, living different lives. You drift apart, and we spoke about it loads of times about communication, all of this stuff. But that, I'm sure there's going to be a rank list, top 10 order, whatever, but
Yeah.
communication has to be up there because you've experienced it. So the less you communicate because you think everything's all right, you think, whatever, or just going through a bad spell, but it just doesn't come out of a bad spell. You don't talk about it. Again, the curse of a man, we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
We just get on with it, and then it comes too far.
Yeah. And from your own experience, is that what we just said there? You know, women obviously tend to have larger networks of friends, groups of circles of friends. Whereas,
Massively. When you split, so when mine ended, I was very much probably had like two mates that I spoke to about it. Fez being one of them, and one of my other mates, and that was it. That was it. That's the only people that noticed a change in me anyway, and actually confronted me about it way before that final point. But then you find yourself, you start questioning everything. You go, "Fuck, I'm alone here. What do I do?" And especially when you've got kids, right? Especially when you've got kids, because that's a massive factor. But yeah, the support network's completely different.
yeah. What about you, Fez? The last relationship that you had, what was do you remember the reasons why?
Probably lack of
relationship ended?
understanding. There was some points that she didn't understand my point of view, and again, the trust went for me. I couldn't fully trust her for a reason, but I think after that period, the trust went, and I think it went downhill from that period. I don't think I ever fully recovered from that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So broken trust, and
Yeah.
you just couldn't get over that.
Yeah.
Martin? albeit well publicised, but for the people that
no. I think looking back now, I think our problem, we just weren't compatible. So I think over the time of the relationship, the cracks started to appear, and it just came to a head, and it just got to a point where, you know, we just weren't compatible, and the longevity of it just wasn't there, you know. And it's taken me a while. Well, I say 6 months, but now I look back, and at the time it was a different story. But I think I'm the most freshest out of a relationship out of us lot.
Yeah.
6-7 months ago. But I look back now, and I've had time to reflect and search my soul and be spiritual. Yeah, I'd probably say just not compatible. Two different people, different views on things.
Can that not work though? Like compatibility? Because we talked about this on the previous podcast with the international dating coach that we had on, soon to be released podcast, which is very good, I might add.
Bears, listen out for some tips there, mate.
We talked about that, and you know, because I sort of made the point that me and my wife are very different people, very, very different.
I think it's rare. I think it's rare that could work. It depends what's tying you down to that common interest, which again we spoke about with the coach. Is that common? If you have a genuine common interest enough to keep you together, to keep you going, that's enough. And sometimes you only need one. Yeah. But I think longevity wise, nah. You become. You probably experience this, Martin and Fez. You become a shell of yourself because you're not included in anything because you've got no interest. There's no conversation about how's your day because you've got no. You end up living separate lives.
Yeah, that literally there, nail on the head. And like you say, Mark, like some people can do it. Some people can get through and survive if chalk and cheese. You know, it does happen. But I can't imagine it's a very.
Actually, to your point, you sort of. It sort of struck a chord with them because what you said, what did you say? You said about not involving, you can't be involved. What did you just say? You can't be involved with them because you don't have the same interest. And
and stuff.
I experience that now in my own marriage. So we'll often go to my wife's house and it'll be my wife.
Whoa, your wife's house?
I was about to say,
yeah, sorry, my mother-in-law's house, her mum's house.
I was going to say how many,
but it'll be me.
They do so well because they don't live together.
Yeah, me, my wife, her mum, her sister, and then her dad rocks in a couple of hours later, drunk. But before the other guy gets there, it's all horse conversations, and they'll often say to me, "Oh, how come you don't get involved? Like, how come you don't say anything?" I'm like, I've got nothing to add to this conversation. Like, what am I going to go? Oh, yeah, the brown one's very good. Like, what can I say? So I can relate to that, AD, actually, because I experienced that in my own relationship. In as much as I can't add anything to their conversations about horses, because frankly, I couldn't give two shits about them.
Could you imagine if you weren't as strong and independent yourself, like you're comfortable, being on your own in your own company? If you weren't like that, that would over time that would chip away, and you would be like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
what am I doing? But because whether you're used to that conversation just going on and you can just zone out and switch off, which a lot of women will attest to, men just switch off. No, it's if you've got, like you said, you've got nothing to add, so why would you chirp in? Make yourself sound like an absolute tool.
But we can assume that you do have other common interests, you and your wife.
We both like Leo.
Then there's a common interest.
So moving on, Fez.
This isn't about me.
We'll do the divorce one soon when this one's released.
No. So
Fez in the corner. No, Daddy.
Don't make it weird.
What I was curious, because obviously you've given the reasons why you think the relationship split up, and you might not be able to answer this, but I was always curious. Do you think that if your exes were asked the same question, that they would give the same answer?
Yeah, I do. I do because we speak about it and it comes up quite a lot.
Okay.
Like most people, you go through spells of like hating each other. Then it's okay again, common interest or common whatever. Then it's back to okay, we need to get on. Let's get on, be friend, all of that stuff. But you always come back to that underlying thing.
Yeah.
And you can tell when you have a conversation. Like we know, like the ex and I, when we have a conversation, sometimes it doesn't take long for it to turn into an argument or something shit said to one of us. Either I say something shit to her or she says something shit to me, and then you're out and you think that's why we're not together.
Yeah.
And we've both said it like hundreds of times. It just didn't work. So I think yes, on my part, yes.
Okay. What about you, Martin?
I think, in essence, yes, but there's more to it, and she'd have a lot more to say probably than I would. But I think in essence, yes, with a few extra little bits chucked in.
Okay. And Fez, you were shaking your head.
No, I think there was a point where there was stuff going on in my life, and I kind of prioritized that. And she would say I didn't give her the time. I didn't put as much effort in. Like at night, it would be a text before I go to bed, and that'll be it. I'll probably text her twice or three times a day.
Yeah.
I had other priorities. Adi knows what they were, and it wasn't like it was a small thing. It was quite a big thing going on with my family. Prioritise that, and then the gym was kind of my release. So I didn't really see as much, and she would say that I kind of didn't put the effort in, and that's where it went downhill.
Okay. Well, I've got some stats on relationships, which I thought you might find a little interesting before we ask the other questions. But so some of the stats. So, all right, let me ask you some of these questions actually. So, the average age of people divorcing, what do we think? So, and I'm just talking about men here, although it would be the same for a woman, I guess, if it's the average age of what men divorce. What age do we think the average divorcee is?
40.
I'm going to say 35.
What would you say, Eddie?
37.
37. It's actually 44 and a half. So 44 and a half is the average age people get divorced. Now, I got a little thinking about that. Is that even correct English? I got to thinking about that. And I was thinking, could that be from a guy's, and again, I'm only thinking it from a man's perspective here. That's sort of the age that the kids are grown up, right? And they go, fuck it, I'm done now. I'm out. Could it be that? Could that be why it's at that age?
If we're all honest and we think about people we know or have known and whatever, majority of the time, relationships, people tend to stay together because the kids are young. Yeah. So to your point, I reckon yes. I reckon probably about that age, they're adults. They can look after themselves. So then the guy goes, I don't need to put up with this. Yeah, I'm going to contact them.
I'd probably, do you know what? With the relationship with my kid's mum, I'd probably still be in the relationship with her now, just because I didn't want to move away from my children, be away from my children. Yeah. You know, the relationship between me and her was dead a lot longer before we split up, and I knew I'd have to move out. I knew I'd have to move away from my children, so I stayed. You know, and.
Martin, were your kids in Grantham when you broke up, or was she still in Northampton?
No. We moved here. Oh God, we moved here when my firstborn was one. A month. No. A month after my firstborn was born. Tieflin. So yeah, no, we lived here. We'd been here. I think we split up about 4 years after we moved here to Grantham.
Okay.
But yeah, I stayed there a lot
longer with the kids. Yeah, we touched on this before. I think men probably do stay a little longer because of the relationship they lose with their children. I think I think if and I'm just guessing with your relationship, Martin, but she broke up, she left, right?
Yeah, my ex ended.
I would hazard a guess that if you had the control of the children, she probably wouldn't have just been as easy for her to leave like she did.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not picking her out. I'm just saying, women in general. I think if it was the opposite way around,
absolutely, I reckon so.
I don't think women would be as quick to pull the trigger on a relationship, knowing that they wouldn't have custody of or they got to see their children once every other weekend.
Yeah, I'd stand by that. I'd back you on that statement.
And yet, look how much. Hence why the podcast is called Nobody Cares About Dad. But look how much shit men get. Yeah, we know from. Let's say we know 5 or 6 people each, just us 4, where the guy has kids and he's staying there just because of the kids. Yeah. That goes untold. So when that time does come and enough's enough or something else happens and they leave, it's not going, oh yeah, but he stuck around for X amount of months or years to help us. Yeah. It's, no, he left.
Dad left.
Yeah, and you think, hang on a minute, bigger picture here. You know, like I said, this is why we do what we do and the conversations we have. But it does annoy me that as soon as a guy does leave, they're the bad person.
Yeah.
Straight away. From a relationship, from a family, whatever, it's on them.
Dads get to have their lay-ins on the weekend. Dads get to go out on the weekends. I hear it all the time. Or, you can have a lie-in. Give me the kids. Swap. Let's swap. Straight. Yeah. Let's do it. I'll have them all the time. You have the weekends. No. There we go then.
Yeah. And on the stats again, so what do you think is a percentage of all couples break up in the first year of a relationship?
Relationship or marriage? Like just
relationship. So straight couple relationships.
60%.
It's good, but it's not quite right.
Ah, damn it.
I was going to say 65.
I'm probably going to go higher. Probably like 85%.
Well, Fez, you get the cookie because it was 70%.
70%. Oh, sorry.
70% of straight couples break up in the first year, but it drops down to 20% once relationships get past the 5-year mark.
20%.
Yeah. And do we know what the average length of time a relationship is? So, like all relationships, what is the average amount of time people stay together?
9 years.
Go on, Fez.
I'm going to say.
I mean, if 70%, just sorry, Fez, but if 70% of all relationships break up in the first year, how can the average be 9 years, Martin?
Because I'm hoping that there's lots of people together for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, brings the average and spreads the average out.
You watch too many Disneys, mate, you.
Yeah.
You're watching too many Disneys.
To be fair, I read an article about Disney paints the wrong perception of how a relationship should be.
It does. Yeah,
of course it does.
And it's a negative.
I think 4 years.
It's 3 months.
It's 3 months.
You haven't asked me yet, mate. I reckon about 3 months.
3 months. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So 3 months. Yeah, 3 months is the average. And interestingly, second marriages are more likely to not end. Sorry, less likely to end in divorce than first marriages.
Yeah, because you've learned all the tricks.
Yeah, the second marriages tend to be the most successful marriages.
Wow, sign me up.
I haven't even been married once.
The other one that I found quite interesting was at the 26th anniversary, so 26 years marriage, the chances of getting divorced is 1%.
Because people are just, that's it then, isn't it? They're like, oh, I've invested too much here.
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah, 26 years. Yeah, the average is 1%, and the average for the average length of marriages in England and Wales is 30 years, but they usually end with the death of a spouse. Did you see? Actually, just coming off this topic recently, did you see that one recently where that woman stabbed her husband to death?
Should have stabbed him more times.
She rang the police and she went, I've stabbed him. She went, I've just had enough of his shit, and stabbed him.
If I remember rightly, she lived here in Grantham at one point.
Probably.
Says it all.
Says it all. Hey,
Yeah.
that's not Grantham. Grantham's a lovely place to live, and the people here are wonderful.
Yeah.
As you drive through Grantham, yeah.
Click that subscribe button, Grantham people.
So couples that break up, what do we estimate as a percentage of couples that get back together?
I think it'd be quite high. I'm gonna say.
I'm not talking like, when you're younger, you're like, oh, it's over, now we're getting back to. I'm talking like properly break up
and then get back to. Okay, I'll say 45.
20%.
I was going to say around about 20, 25.
Yeah, 15%.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's miles
of all
out.
couples get back together, and actually 78% of them stay together once they've gone back. So,
Wow.
what's the saying? A rest is as good as a. Well, I don't know what the saying is, but
Me and my kid's mum did that.
And you must have been the other 12% that didn't work out then.
Yeah, we dated for 4 or 5 months, and then 7, 8 years got back together.
Yeah, well, me and Carly broke up. For 11 months, and then look how happy we are now.
Tell your face.
Sorry, my connection went, mate. What?
Sorry, what was that? Yeah, going through a tunnel. Yeah, what's have you? Just put the question to you guys actually. So, have any of you ever had a serious relationship and gone back with that person?
No.
I'd say yes, but so broke up for a very short period, tried again for a very short period, and then that was it. Yeah. So not gone right fully back in.
So when you broke up, what was it that brought it back together?
The kids.
Oh, it was Jodie, was it? It was Jodie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the kids, and then it was more of a let's try it. Like you see it all the time. Let's try again for the kids, and then just didn't work.
Yeah. What about you, Martin? Was it the kids? Did you break up before the kids or after the kids?
No. We dated for about 4 months when I was 22 or something like that.
Stone or
years. Then I became 26 stone, and then we got back together like 8 years later. Ended up chatting again and got back together, and then it was 8 together.
8 years.
Yeah, about 8 year gap between us.
Sorry. So you were dating for 4 months.
Yeah, when I was 20, 22, 23.
Break of 8 years, and then
got back together.
Why did it end after 4 months then? What was that reason?
I just didn't want to be with her, so I actually ended it. Okay. So we're 1-1 now.
Wow.
She reminded me of that once.
Going to sudden death then?
No chance. No. Just separated, and then we went our separate ways. I ended up leaving Grantham, since where we lived here. She left as well, and then we just got talking via social media on Facebook, and then met back up, had children, and split up. And it's a draw.
Have you broke up twice then?
Yes, yeah. Okay. So the first time I ended the relationship, I just didn't want to be in a relationship. I was young, just didn't feel it. And then the second time, she was old and just didn't feel it. So,
wow.
So, like we say, there's got to be a decider. So,
no decider.
Well, maybe the best way to do it is you get back together, and then, like it says here, one of you dies, and then that's quits.
Thankfully, she doesn't watch these podcasts, and I'd rather not, and I'm sure she's in the same boat. So let's. Anyway, Fez, what about you?
What do you mean about me?
He's so now he's like, this is
anything about you, mate. Just take hold of the conversation.
There's not much I can say to that, really. All right, let's talk about kids. It's not me.
Bez, have you ever? So with your ex, when you broke up, was that it? Done? No going back, or did you consider it, try, or what?
We met up for a bit, but we kind of figured out that it just wasn't it. You know exactly what I did.
Come on.
Me and Mark are dead.
Yeah, well, it was more we kind of met up for other things, but it was
What other things?
Tiddlywinks, snail collecting.
They tried to
That's
play.
it. That was it. Snail collecting. We were meeting up for snail collecting, and yeah,
conker season. Was that what it was?
Massive conker season.
Conker
Sesh.
slapping together.
That's the good way of putting it. Yeah, and yeah, it just we kind of moved on from each other after that. That was it.
I'm so going to clip that bit up. So actually, the interesting question to each of you, and you don't have to tell me who, although it would be great if you did. Is there an ex, thinking about it now, from any point in your history that you would get back with now?
Good question. Bez?
No. That's well, I've only had actually one proper ex, so no.
Yeah, I would.
Are you going to reveal which one? Or?
Jodie.
No, Alana.
Alana.
No time bollocks, mate. Not a chance. No.
Fuck you. That jet lag setting in, isn't it? Jesus.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not a chance. No, no.
None of them.
No. Nope.
None of them, as if there's been hundreds.
Well, mate, we're international podcast superstars.
Oh, here we go.
I've been on holiday a couple of times.
What about you, Martin?
Yeah, my kids. No, I'm joking. Probably one.
And are you at liberty to say?
Make it 2-1.
Probably. Yeah, I could say because she's I haven't spoken to her for years.
I'm sure.
Yeah, she probably won't listen. If she does, hey, hit me up. Just a girl I dated for about 9 months in Northampton called Geraldine or Gels. Probably
Gerald, mate. I'm just thinking of Peter Kay. Geraldine.
Yeah, probably her. I haven't spoken to her for a long time now. But yeah, probably her.
No time like the present.
No, you're all right. I'd rather look forward than going back, to be truthful. I've done the going back thing. I got 2 kids out of it, but
I went back, got Leo out of it, and to be completely frank, it was a nightmare before, and it's been better since.
I mean, when did you last do some conker playing?
Get your calendar out.
An hour ago.
An hour, yeah.
That's why I was late for the podcast.
It's literally what he said. It's literally come on. Oh, this is what I was like.
Martin was like, "Oh, you look out of breath." I'm like, "Yeah, I've just had a bit."
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, yeah. That's my message you one time this year. Well done, you've earned it. Well done, little boy. Anyway, next question for you boys. Have you ever lied about the reason you ended a relationship? And what was the lie? Because I know you all have.
Yeah, I was moving to Yemen.
It was actually Peterborough.
Yeah.
I actually haven't. I've been truthful. I actually have.
You've
lied.
literally had one relationship. So.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was talking to someone else, I'd tell them the reason.
Okay. Mine.
Yeah.
What's the lie?
And what was the lie?
I'm not telling you the bloody lie.
Oh, that's poor.
Come on, what's the lie?
It was actually no, I can't say. It was actually because a girl smoked.
Right.
And I didn't like. I didn't like it. It just put me off.
That's not a lie then.
No. That's what the reason was.
Okay.
But I can't remember what the lie was there. But there was a reason why. And I just lied, and I can't remember. Some along the lines of that. I don't have time. I just don't have time to be in a relationship. It was because the girl smoked and I couldn't stand it. But I had loads of time. Loads.
AD, about yourself?
Trying to think about. I don't think I have, to be honest. The ones that I've been with, it's obviously why the last one ended, and then the other one. Yeah, there was no lie about it. No lie about
I
it.
lied, and I got caught out lying.
What was yours?
So, and she does actually watch this podcast.
Oh, here we go.
well. On that note, you may as well name her.
Yeah, well, I was at college. It was when I was at college playing footy with you, Tilly, and I remember I was seeing this girl, and this is horrendous because I got found out in like the worst possible way. So, like,
I know what.
do you know? So like, I was dating this girl for 6-7 months, maybe nearly a year, probably actually, and someone else fluttered their eyelids at me who was phenomenally good looking. And so I was like, look, I'm actually going to take a bit of time to concentrate on my career. I want to make it as a footballer. I'm going to really take some time. I'm not going to date anyone. It's not you. It's just, I need the time to myself. That was like the Wednesday. On the Saturday, I was walking hand in hand in Lincoln with my new girlfriend. And I walked straight into her.
Oh.
It's like one of them ground swallows you up moments.
Did she say anything, or did she just?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She said
fair play to her.
Did you get swilled?
No, she took it like a man.
She took a bat to his head.
No, she took it. She's good sport, and I've kept in touch with her over the years. She's a good girl, and yeah, she took it well. She does remind me of it every now and again, right? But yeah, she took it well. So yeah, lying about. Never lie, kids. Just be honest.
Always get found out.
Was there ever a relationship that any of you ended that you regretted? Ended early that you regretted?
Oh fuck.
Well, I'm going to say no because I've only had one.
That's why you on here.
I don't know.
You want to make a cup of tea, Ferris?
Oh, might as well.
I'd probably say with my kid's mum, the first time.
So that ended early and you regretted it.
Yeah. Because like she was really nice. In the first part of our relationship, first time. Yeah, she was, to be fair, she was a wonderful girlfriend when we first time we dated. And yeah, I'd probably say that. I think I'd have saved a bit of heartache afterwards. Things could have been different, but who knows?
Honestly, mate, and I'm being objective here, but this really sounds like this relationship needs a Return of the Jedi.
No.
Keep saying no, mate, because we believe you.
Yeah. No.
Just in case you don't believe me, no.
Well, that's convincing me that. Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's it.
Defense rests its case. What about you, AD?
No. I think, yeah, one that ended far too early, and then when you see them and they have this massive like transformation,
yeah,
and you think, oh shit, what have I done?
Like I said at the start, rising like a phoenix from the ashes.
I mean, like this was years and years after. However, still, you still look back and you think, actually, there was nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong when we were together in that relationship. It was just one of those things. It was just
Has anyone ever been dumped? A bad dumping
at school.
Dumping, yeah.
Yeah, 1-1.
1-1.
I'm a no.
No.
Hey, did you do the dumping, Fez?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Because guys have this thing, don't they, where even if they were dumped, Nah, I finished it, mate.
Complete it, mate.
I told her where to go.
Yeah, like Jay and the In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
She said I had a big knob.
There's something on your lip.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah. What's up with your lip, mate? Yeah, because they do, don't they? You got guys, it is that the whole bravado. Oh, you've been dumped. Like, oh, nah, not me, mate.
Nobody dumps this. No.
Yeah. Why do we do that?
Pride.
It's the bravado thing, isn't it?
But it's to your mates, isn't it? It's to the boys. You don't want to be like, yeah. She dumped me, and it's that pride thing, isn't it? It's that
have any of you experienced? Because I used to be like this when I was younger, and I think most guys go through it, but I think it's an age thing where when you're younger, you're in a relationship and you're just like you end it, just like it's over. That me and you are finished, and then literally like 2 hours later, you're like, oh, sorry, babe. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I used to be bad for that. Like when I was younger, like as soon as something didn't go my way or said something out of order, I just it's over. That's it, done.
When you say younger, you mean like recently?
No, like I'm talking.
That was definitely not something I did in my last relationship ever.
No, I'm talking like late season.
Yeah. Good.
My ex did that a lot.
Yeah, because I think that's something you do when you're young, isn't it? Like, and I think now instead of going, it's over, you just say, shut up, you idiot. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just it's
should have tried that. Well, that was the reason my last relationship split up. That was what I said. I literally said I'm done. The last relationship, I said I'm done.
And you didn't really mean it, but you said it.
I said it. I was pissed. She pissed me off. Literally pushed me, and I was just like, I'm fucking done. I'm out. I'm fed up. This is done. I'm done.
Yeah.
2 hours later, creeping back in. I'm sorry, and she just said no, sticking to it.
Yeah.
So technically, I did the dumping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that. Like I have done that.
I did go crawling back.
I've done that whole dumping and going back loads. Like when I was younger, and I remember one time with one girl I was seeing, she did that. She did what yours did, Martin. Went, nah. See you later then. I was like, no, I didn't mean that.
Please, I'm 26 stone. Stay.
No, I meant I'm done with my dinner.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an age thing, mate.
Yeah.
Because the more, like, I say, look at us now. Fez excluded for a second.
Cheers, pal. As normal.
Martin, like for us, you look back now and you think, if you were to get in another relationship now, you would play it. You would definitely play it completely different because of the past and everything else, and you wouldn't do the silly arguments and saying, "Well, okay, if you're not going to do that, we're over. We're done. Like, see you later." Because actually, if they call your bluff on it, there's no being Billy Big Balls about it. You're going, "Oh shit, here we are again." So I think it's one of these things you definitely learn from. Bringing Fez back in, you're quite switched on and mature for your age, so I don't think you would be that kind of person to be saying, "Well, no, if we're not going to go and do what I want to do, it's over." I think you're a bit of an anomaly in that aspect. But saying that, you definitely need to start.
Here we go.
Talking to women. I mean,
bigger start, wouldn't it? To be fair.
No, I'd say more. I think your bar. We spoke about this on a previous podcast. I think you set your bar is way too high.
Oh, cheers, pal. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but you're making it impossible. You're making it impossible for yourself to meet the right person. Anyone who winks at you, you fall in love.
Yeah, true.
So
anyone who speaks to me, I fall in love. That's it. Game over.
Yeah.
Oh, Martin, stop it.
He's got to leave. He's on his way to Grantham.
26 stone. I love him, baby.
No, I think, Mark, I think we've all done it at some stage.
Marco's looking at his phone. He's like, you guys just gas on.
But only a few people have been called out on it.
Mm.
There we go. Martin being one, and Marco.
Openly admitted to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wasn't in nearly 40 when I did it.
What, stone? I've got a way off from that.
Yeah, no, but yeah, like, it's just maturity, that, isn't it? It's just.
Oh, I'm so not mature. I openly admit it.
How did you? So Fez, how did you feel when? Obviously, we spoke when your relationship ended, but
yeah,
how did you feel about it? Because this is the thing. When we said we were going to do this topic, it was all about, like Michael said at the start, being honest. From a guy's point of view, how did you feel from that breakup?
So the first, I'd say, month or so, I was actually all right. I didn't feel down at all. I was just going out, seeing my mates and stuff, and it was like, actually, this is all right. And then I think it actually hit me a couple of months later properly, and I thought, right. And I think that at that point, I was like, I was down for about 3 or 4 months after that, and I was going to the gym too much. I was dieting too much. You agree, Adi? You would agree, Adi. I was literally, it was everything, just trying to get myself into a good shape and stuff like that. And I was literally just, that was it. And I was actually, when I was speaking to my friends, like, "Oh, Fizz, how you doing?" and stuff. They were like, and I was going, "Yeah, I'm okay." But actually, was I okay? Probably not. I was putting on a bit of a front when I saw him, because at home, I don't think I was okay. So it kind of, the first, like I say, the first couple of months I was fine, and then after that, it kind of hit more. And I think actually, AD, you're probably the only one who actually saw that. The others were, I was going out with them, and they're like, "Oh, Fez, you okay still?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fine, just going out." And actually, yeah, it did affect me.
A bit like you said, Marco. You kind of, as a guy, that initial part, you carry on living as normal. You're like, okay, cool. I'm going out still. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing everything. Obviously, Fez, you went a bit to the extreme on all of that.
Yeah,
like, with the whole dieting and stuff. And I think didn't I drag you out to Manchester to break all that up with Marco?
correct.
Oh, is that when
yes.
that was?
Yeah,
that was after he was going through that phase. I was like, "You're coming out on the day sesh. That is it."
Yeah.
And then look where you are now, mate. Still single.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah,
absolutely broke you. What about you, Martin?
To be fair, the separation this time, to be fair, it was kind of interlinked. My breakup was, I struggled. I openly admit I struggled when me and my ex split up. But
we could see that when we recorded your podcast.
Yeah,
it hasn't gone out again. But
we'll record that one.
You could tell that you weren't.
Yeah, I struggled because there was a lot of like interlinking factors. Business, I had my own businesses, and I'd been contemplating getting rid of them for a while. I felt when I split I felt very lonely. During the relationship, I put myself into a position to be very reliant on the relationship per se. It's hard to
many guys do. Many guys.
Yeah. She came into my life at a time where I didn't have I'd not long lost a social group of friends. And then in the relationship, I'd kind of distanced myself away from people that I was connected to and stuff, through reasons not of my own doing. But then I was working a lot, and I found that I got into a routine of, I'd have my children for 3 nights a week, and then I'd work. And that was the same routine over and over again. So I didn't socialize with people. So then I came out of it. And prior to that, the separation, I'd been thinking about getting rid of the businesses. I was contemplating selling them. And then the relationship just out the blue, to me, out the blue, it ended. And it hit me hard. It really did hit me hard. And I struggled, but my mental health I'd been low on my mental health. I'd come off my tablets as well, for anxiety. So I just struggled. But since then, I've made a lot of changes. I've got rid of my businesses. I now have a good social group of friends. And I look back now and realize that actually it was a good thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I rise out of the ashes like a phoenix.
Got his nails done and his hair did.
Yeah, I go to the hairdresser.
His nose did.
No, yeah, got my nose did, and a tattoo, and
so let's come on to the reasons why people break up there. So the top 10 reasons why people break up. Does anyone want to guess at the number one?
Cheating.
Number one. You're all correct. You all get a cookie. Number one.
Well,
cheating is number one. No surprise there.
Nah.
No,
but we've covered that, haven't we? We've covered cheating.
It leads into all sorts, doesn't it? It covers over so many other little avenues you could put down.
It'd be interesting. When are these stats from?
It's from that study that I read of 6,000 men, but I don't know when it was.
Because it'd be interesting to go back to maybe prior to like social media. Because things like social media obviously played into being able to like cheat and stuff, and how
do you know I'm gonna for lack of a better word, poo-poo that idea. Because,
really?
Yeah, because like, mate, before social media, I was a dog, right? And social media made it worse because everybody was connected, so you couldn't have. So like in Grantham, I used to have like 3 girlfriends, but no one knew each other. Like, do you know what I mean? And it was like dead easy. No one was connected on social media.
Listen to him.
I know. Yeah, whatever. Billy Big Dick's out. All that sort of shit.
But that meant you could have done that. You could have. That's what I mean.
The point that you can't do that now with social media. You could do it under the radar. It's so easy back then.
Yeah, but this is the point. The point is splitting up, not getting away with it. Nowadays, you can do it, but you can't get away with it.
Good point.
Hang on a minute. that you know, it's yeah. You can't. Back then, you could get away with it. So this is what I mean. Social media now, you cheat, and within minutes, it's the town gossip.
This isn't cheating, but I once told Carly that I was going to the 2010 World Cup in South Africa.
Nice.
Right. I went to Magaluf with a lad for 2 weeks to watch the World Cup, but just for bars in Magaluf. She found out.
Social media?
Yeah.
Somebody put a picture and you were in the background?
Probably, because actually to this day I still don't really know how she'd found out, but it would have been social media,
yeah. Yeah.
But
I think there was
prior to Facebook or Meta, as it's now called. Yeah, I got away with that.
To be fair, I was in the same boat, kind of. Not as large scale, but I said I was at a family.
Yeah, escape nest. Went to London.
And then I went out with AD, and I don't know how. I took my phone was ringing. My ex. It was in my pocket. And I didn't realise, and it went, "Okay, guys, in flares. Here we go." And then she went, "You're in flares." I went, "No, I'm not." She went, "You are." And then I asked her the next morning. I said, "How do you know?" She went, "You phoned me." I went, "You are kidding me."
I've got a funny story about that, and I won't mention his name because he may or may not have been on this podcast. But we back in the day when this is like 2000, 2001, he had this girlfriend, and we were in his car, right? And he was telling us this story about how he fucked this bird the other night under this windmill. Or a bit under the windmill, or something like under the windmill. Anyway, his phone rings about an hour later. It's his bird. She's like, "So did you fuck her inside the windmill or outside the windmill?" He'd pocket dialed his bird, and then he was telling us this story about how he fucked his girl.
The question is, how did he get out of it?
They broke up. Funnily enough, yeah, they broke up.
Wow.
She may or may not have gone to St. Lucia to suck Big Black Willie.
That was the only purpose.
Yeah, but that's hilarious when that happens.
But little things like
if it's you, it's not hilarious.
Snapchat map locations, who's got them turned on and who's got them turned off.
Mine are off.
Don't use it.
Mine are off.
Don't really use it.
But you are right. Social media plays a massive part in everything, relationships, the lot, everything.
But also, so whilst it probably uncovers a lot more, it makes it a lot more
people a lot more.
It's more accessible, isn't it? But it also plays into one of them. Where is it? So I'm just skipping a few here, but number 8 is comparing your relationship to someone else's. You'll often look at couples online and you think, "Oh, I want that. Why can't I have that?" But they're probably the most unhappy people in the world. But on social media, they portray themselves as the best couple, the happiest couple. They do all the things together, but could ultimately hate each other.
That's what it is. You turn, smile for the camera, and then you look away, and you're in separate rooms again, or whatever.
I was talking about this today. I used to have this girlfriend, right, who hated when I was with her for 3 years. So you know who you are. Anyway, she we used to be together, mate, and she was stunning. Like, I swear to God, she was like one of the most beautiful girls in the town. Honestly, she's unreal. If I told you it was, you'd know. Anyway, I used to look. You'd know, yeah. I used to look at her in bed, right? And I used to go. I used to wake up and look at her and go, "I fucking hate you." I fucking couldn't stand her. I fucking hated her. But then to the outside world, it was like, "Oh, and you're the best couple." We're like, "Yeah." Oh man, yeah, she was an arsehole.
but that's to your point. You can portray anything online, anything. But it is more accessible. You can find that's where most people meet nowadays, especially at the moment and like the past 2 years. That's where people will meet is online.
Yeah,
you get chatting to somebody, or you'll follow somebody, or you get a friend. Like something will happen, and that's where it then starts developing. Gone are the days where you meet somebody out on a night out. I mean, it's starting to slowly.
Or on the beach, in the sea. It just don't happen anymore.
Maybe. You chill in the beach and just happen to spend like a few hours in the sea, mate. Yeah. What a pickle.
Well, Facebook's now opened up into the dating world, hasn't it?
Has it?
Yeah, there's a Facebook dating app.
Wow. Number 2. Number 2 on the list. What do you reckon?
For breakups?
Yeah.
Friends. Like social. So, yeah.
Effort. Can't be bothered with it anymore.
I'd say lying.
So that lying actually isn't on the list, really. Number 2 is unrealistic expectations.
Wow.
So I guess that could be, and when I was reading that, it was sort of talking about you get into a relationship, you want to have kids, you want to get married. This person doesn't want to have kids, doesn't want to get married, or maybe you've had kids, don't want any more kids.
Okay.
Maybe one of you wants to move to Dallas, Texas. Maybe one of you wants to stay here. Things like that. Number 3. Anyone want to guess what number 3 on the list is?
Oh, you're a twat.
Yeah.
No.
I guess one of you just sort of previously mentioned this actually. You said becoming friends, but falling out of love. So falling out of love is 3rd on the list.
Friend
in that friend zone. Number 4. I'm just, without going through them because I'm conscious of the time, I'm just going to read through them and just get your opinion on them. Number 4 is inability to confront problems.
That's
communication.
That's communication, isn't it? That's not communicating. Yeah. If something's not working, something's not right, you're just not communicating about it.
No.
Number 5, too many differences to resolve. I suppose that could come from cheating or unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, a mixture of things, not problems.
Probably leads on from the top 4 there, doesn't
it? Yeah.
Lack of understanding is number 6.
That's why
that could be in your scenario where you're trying to date now and you don't have a lot of time, so people don't have that understanding from your perspective as to what you need and the time you give to next. That could come up for you.
That's why I broke up, really. I said that
lack
at the
of
start.
understanding.
Yeah, I said that right at the start.
Yeah. I'd probably put that higher, to be fair.
Really?
It is quite broad, isn't it, that?
Yeah. Number 7 is expecting your partner to read your mind.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I don't know. I don't really know how to put that into a context. That
No, I think it happens though, as in the woman's like, so why haven't you done this? They might have said, no, I don't want it. For example, this is one when you go out and get a takeaway, like, no, I don't want anything. And then they come back and grab all your food and say, you didn't want anything. How are we supposed to read your mind? So like that.
Yeah, I guess so. Number 8, I've mentioned comparing your relationship to someone else's. Number 9, this is a nasty one. Subjecting your partner to unwarranted anger. So I guess beating her about him or beating him about.
Yeah, Matrix equal.
Well,
could that even in like coming home and having a bad day and just snapping at the missus and
shout, getting
or snapping at the boyfriend or the
temper, everything. Yeah, I know guys like that, but and girls, I know women that are like that.
We've all probably done it when you're knackered or whatever.
But you just look at the statistics to actually how often that regularly does happen.
Yeah.
That guys, again, I'm just talking for me. It's with men because you think it's always normally the guys you'd never expect either, and you've the meekest, mildest men, and the home they're beating the shit out of their missuses.
Fez.
Look at him, just like
he's going all red.
And number 10 is lack of support. So lack of support
from your partner.
From your partner, yeah.
Yeah, again, yeah.
That was a big issue in mine.
I see that because that again, that would cover anything from support as a man. And
I think that would rank highly on a woman's list, and I'm just putting it out there because Carly's big gripe at me is lack of support around the house. Like I'm useless at it, and it's not. I was going to say it's not that I don't want to do it. I genuinely don't want to do it, but even when I do it, she'll moan about it, so I just don't do it. But that would be her. That's her one gripe with me is that I don't support around the house.
Yeah.
So I think that would probably rank higher on women's lists than men's.
Yeah.
Massively higher on a woman. Yeah.
Be interesting to see that flip of
a female perspective.
What the woman's reasons are, but I think I'd probably agree with. I'd say 6 or 7 of them. What
do you think's missing from that list then?
Well, definitely bullshitting.
What about other people interfering in relationships? Because you have
family and friends.
Friends. Like we said, girls have a really strong network of friends. And how many times have you heard, he's not good enough for you? And you've heard these.
Oh my God! Where's the mute button on that idiot? Never.
Well, mate, if you were listening into the conversations, they were not talking about horses, slagging you off. But you're not listening, are you?
Yeah. No, go on, carry on.
Sorry. But girls have these support networks of girls around them.
Why do you think that is? Like, why do guys? Because we probably all know guys that get in relationships and then just disappear.
Yeah, but have you ever said to a guy? Have you ever gone to a guy and gone, "Your missus isn't good enough for you"? Blah 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 blah. You tend to not.
Yeah, I told my brother the first time I met his missus, she's a nightmare. Get rid of her.
Really?
My mates told me.
Not a conversation I've ever had.
Yeah. What did you say, Fez?
My mates told me my ex was like that. I didn't ignore them.
My brother's ex. The first time I ever met her, I was like, "Mate, you've got to get rid of her. She's a fucking idiot."
And how long did you stay with her? 4
months. They didn't break up because of my advice, but I think they broke up because she was a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally the first time I met her, I was like, nah.
But yeah, but people interfering in relationships can certainly have an impact. And
would you listen though? Like, so let's say, I don't know, who's your best mate, Martin, that isn't female?
I don't think I really have one. I've never really had it.
All right, let's make one up. Right, let's just say Fez is your best mate, yeah? And let's say you're going out.
We put water over each other like besties do.
Let's just say you're best mates, right? And you're going out with this new girl, and Fez turns to you and says, "Mate, I'm seeing warning signs here. I'd get rid of that." Would you just be like? I think you, like many men, would just go, shut up, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you would.
Do you know what? I reckon it depends. Majority, yes, 100%. But I think it depends on how badly you've been burnt before, and how much you actually that best friend, you rely on their input, their information. Because let's say, Marco, let's say I was to date somebody and you was to go, mate, fuck off. No, I'd listen to you, because I think, okay, you can see, because as a guy, when you get in a relationship, like you said, you switch off from the world.
Love is blind.
Yeah,
You get your blinkers on.
you go, whatever. Like, I'm living the dream here. But I think, again, I've as an age and a maturity thing, you start to go, hang on a minute. If I can't see this, but my mates can, I don't want to get in that trap again. I don't want to be made to feel like I did or whatever. So I personally, I think I would, and that's hand on heart. I genuinely think if I was to get with somebody and my mates around me were saying, mate, like, I wouldn't do one quick, I think I'd go, oh, do you know what? All right.
Again, though, do you think that's a maturity thing? Because do you think you'd have done that at a younger age?
At a younger age, no, because it's all about, like, you disappear from your mates because you're conkers, mate. You're playing conkers all day. You miss away from your friends because you're busy. But I think it is a maturity thing, and again, I think it's just, yeah, it's just what you look for now. You start to understand around you what's important. Yeah. And if your mates can see you changing again, you would hope that you have that circle of mates that go, buddy, no, have a word. And you've got to be able to listen to that. But I guess the majority of people would just, again, now I'm playing conkers tonight. I can't listen to you.
I would now. I didn't before. I had warned. Well, my mate said there was warning signs, and I didn't listen. But because I've been through that now, I think I'd take their advice more, and listen to my close mates telling me if they said, "Look, you're not yourself," or "We're not seeing," or whatever. I'd listen this time.
Yeah. And that's true, because you have them. You were talking to one, and I remember saying to you, "You don't."
I just, that was so it.
You did one. But yeah, I think it just depends on, mate. I think it depends on where you're at mentally yourself. You know, are you that desperate for being in a relationship that you just switch off and go, whatever, I'm getting swept up in this moment here. Like I say, blinkers on, everything. If you do that, fine, each to their own. Each to their own, isn't it? You can't force somebody to listen. We all know that. Like, you can't force somebody to listen to the best advice in the world. You can't.
No.
Would you? Now,
I was
you different, like you weren't married and all that.
Well, I was just trying to think back to have I been in a situation, and with her, like, my sisters hated her. Mm-hmm. Like when we broke up the first time, they were like, abort. And we did, but not just because of that, but just because, we obviously that played a part, but also we just didn't get on.
Yeah,
we just didn't. And then we came back, and it was she'd gone through a bit of a personality transplant, in all honesty. She would admit it herself. Like,
I was going to say, does she watch these podcasts?
No, she doesn't. Now that's another podcast, and that's another bone of contention. I was saying the other day, I'm going to do a podcast called I Can't Stand My Wife, She's an Idiot, and I'm going to post it, and I bet she doesn't watch it.
That is so worth doing.
Yeah, it was 30 minutes of me just going. Yeah, but no, to the point. Yeah, so I did have it. People were, and probably vice versa. Probably her family and friends were probably. In fact, I know that her friends said, no, get rid.
Of course, you know. To Martin's point, when people interfere, friends and family, normally the female side, like I said, their support network, they listen a lot more than guys, because it's our nature, it's our bravado. We're like, whatever, we'll do what we want. But actually, in retrospect, you think, shit, should have listened.
Should have listened.
But I think everyone's different, mate. Everyone's different on that.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Final question then, just wrapping up. And what this is relationship advice, isn't, not Leicester win the Premier League in 2013 advice, whenever it was. But what, probably a little bit hard for you to answer this, Fez, because what does 22-year-old Fez say to 16-year-old Fez? What does Martin and AD, as the 36 and nearly 40-year-old, say to a young 20-year-old?
No. Less of this nearly 40. I'm only 2 years. I'm only 2 years older than him. I know I look older.
Anyway, so what? Okay, into your late 30s. What relationship advice do you give to a young 20-year-old Martin and AD?
Listen to your gut. Intuition. They say women's intuition. No, men have it as well, but we just don't listen. We can see the flags, we can see the warning signs.
That's because we listen to slightly lower than the gut.
Yeah, exactly. We listen to the conquer.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? Though that's the advice I would say is actually take a step back and just listen. Don't be influenced, but just listen. Listen to yourself. So if you have doubts, why continue? Why still go through it?
Can I ask you a question, actually? You might not want to answer this. It's a little personal, but I've never actually answered this question, so probably should have done it off air, but we're talking about it now. When you married Alana, did you have any doubts about her, or was you just... Because from the outside, like when we went to Texas, she was a fucking nightmare. And I remember looking at that. I mean, she was like being racist in the car. I was like, okay.
I feel like we need to have a conversation off air about this conversation. I didn't even know you were married.
Because I thought, I know you was with her for a little bit, but how much of, because you were at the time you were moving to Texas, weren't you? That was the grand plan. How much of moving to Texas played into you keeping that relationship, or was it?
Oh mate, 90%.
Okay.
Easy. It was more swept up in the what's happening, and because you've known for years and years, like prior to her, I've always wanted to go to live in America. That was it. Played footy out there, wanted to move out there, and that was it. All of a sudden, you have that opportunity, and you're like, okay, I'm cashing on this. Like, this is what's happening. Yeah. So you kind of, again, you ignore all the signs. And mate, I knew, I was like, if I go ahead with this and actually move, it won't last long anyway. Like when you're out there.
Yeah.
But, just things happened prior to that gave me an out. So took that out. So mate, I'd say 90% there were a lot of signs there.
Yeah.
But ignored it because
ignored it.
Yeah, I was looking. Sounds bad to say, doesn't it? But I was looking at bigger picture. I was like, well, I'm gonna move to where I've always wanted to live. I'm gonna have that life I've always wanted to have. So I'm gonna crack on.
Yeah.
But then domino effect, isn't it?
But I know the feeling because I had it. So in the 11 months that me and Carly broke up, which was coincidentally the time you got married.
It
was, wasn't it? I dated somebody who ordinarily I would never have dated, but at that point I wanted to have kids and a family. She had kids and a family. I was like, brilliant, ready-made family, perfect. But like people said to me, mate, what are you doing? Like, but you just ignored it because I was again thinking big picture rather than actually what was right.
Yeah.
You right, AD?
Yeah. Plugging my laptop back in. We've gone on for far too long.
Yeah. Well, actually, we have. So to be fair, let's wrap it up, boys, because it is.
I had a really good bit of advice. No, I didn't really.
A little bit, but no, I do enjoy these topical conversations with
Fez,
you boys.
You can pick the topic.
I'm gonna say maybe next time we'll pick one that's a little bit more relevant that Fez can get involved with.
Thanks, boys.
Pokemon or?
No, I was thinking Power Rangers.
Pogs. Bring back Pogs. Yeah. Please tell me you know what a Pog is.
No.
Pog.
Pogs.
Pogba.
Pogs.
I know what pogs are.
Thank God for that.
I was a pog champion, mate. Like, I had
Oh,
to turn
here we go.
those pogs over like there was no tomorrow.
He left a relationship to follow his pog career. Pogs. Do you know what pogs are, AD?
Yeah, I do, but they're just so sad. It's unbelievable. I'm not even talking about that shit. Fez, you can pick the subject next time.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
In fact, Fez, you can host it next time.
Yeah.
We're all busy.
We'll get you a green screen, get you in the studio.
Cheers, boys. I appreciate it.
Look at him, he's bricking it already. No, you can't.
No.
Sitting there thinking, what can I talk about, Jim?
You can do the opening monologue. You can write it.
Write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. He doesn't get it.
No, I got it now. Yeah.
Right, boys.
Right, boys. Catch you later.
Been a motion.
In a bit.
Peace.